I've been messing around with a few different logos just to change it up a little bit. At the beginning there's a little bit of a sci-fi logo on this one. I've got an action one I've done as well. I've done a comedy one as well where I've looped my niece laughing, so I feel sorry for her. As this is a sort of sci-fi review, we're gonna start with that. Beep. Hello, what up? It's John, your movie madman, and I'm back. Today I'm going to show you a box. In fact, I'm going to show you two boxes. That's right. And then I'm going to open it, and then I'm going to be very disappointed because it's a 4K Blu-ray without a slip cover. That's rude. That's really rude. I might send it back. No slip cover, so thanks Amazon, but I've got Baby Driver in 4K. It's quite exciting, except for the fact that there's no slip cover. I'm really offended. I'm going to open this just so that you can see, because otherwise it wouldn't really be an unboxing, would it? I mean, it's just a plastic, and there's a 4K Blu-ray in there. And a normal Blu-ray as well. Looks like a record, which is pretty good. I mean, that's great step on the artwork. Great step on the artwork for that one. Obviously I haven't watched it yet because I've only just opened it, but I watched this and I'll watch the stuff that's in this other box as well, and then I'll stick that on the end of this. So you guys should be used to that by now. So let's open this one. Now this one was an absolute bargain, because literally every time I've gone onto Amazon to look at this item, it's been like 58 quid, and I'm like, no, I'm not spending 58 quid. I got it for 30, so, and that is The Matrix in 4K. This is the Trilogy. Look, the HDR's not got a sticker either. That's pretty good. This is the Trilogy. From what I understand, the Animatrix isn't in this, which did upset me a little bit. I thought if they were going to do a 4K box, they'd do a 4K box with all of it, but they couldn't be bothered. Maybe the Animatrix isn't in 4K yet, or ever. Who knows? Warner Brothers probably knows. So, Warner Brothers. Oh, that's interesting. So it's got a nice little slip cover on the top there. Nice little reminder of what it's called on the top there, and on the back there, and on the side there. Not on the bottom though. On the bottom it just tells you it contains strong violence, which, to be fair, it's not really, the violence isn't really that strong. I'm pretty sure the only reason these films aren't 12s is because they're swearing in them, and a bit of consensual intercourse in the second movie. There's the first one, The Matrix. Funny that. Nice original artwork on there, on the 4K disc, and then there's two Blu-rays there, so that's pretty exciting. The Matrix Reloaded. Yep, be interesting to see what these look like in 4K, to be fair, because there's a 4K disc for you there. The only reason I say that is because there are some 4K discs that have a tendency to show up really bad CGI, and I don't know if you know much about some of the fight scenes in some of these films, but they do contain pretty bad CGI. There's a fight between Neo and loads of Smiths in the second film, and there are parts of that where it literally looks like you're watching a game. So The Matrix Revolutions, I mean, not that I really care for The Matrix Revolutions, but got to get it as part of the set, haven't you? There's a 4K disc for you there as well. So yeah, they could have pushed the boat out with the artwork a little bit there, but you know, maybe they couldn't be bothered. Maybe they couldn't be bothered. And then there's a nice empty case as well there, so because I took them out. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch these over the next few days. I probably won't do a really deep review on all of these, but I'll probably talk about the first one. It's the most popular. I'll let you know what that CGI looks like in 4K as well, and I'll talk about Baby Driver 2. So it'll be quite exciting. So don't go anywhere, because you got some really good stuff on the way. So brace yourself. So that was interesting. Very interesting, actually. Oh, I've watched them now. Sorry, I probably could have said that first, but you knew that because I said it a minute ago, so I didn't have to say it, really, did I? So stop moaning. Alright, I watched Baby Driver today. Watched The Matrix Reloaded earlier today as well, and I watched The Matrix yesterday. I probably won't watch the third Matrix because it's shit. It's a difficult one, The Matrix. I mean, I liked it. I like The Matrix as a film. I like the second Matrix as a film. I think they're both very enjoyable movies, but the 4K side of The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded, actually, both of them, was a bit shocking, I thought. I mean, I forgive the movie because I know they were both made back in the days when CGI wasn't as good as it is now. So I do forgive it that there were some really bad CGI shots in the 4K versions of both of them. Like, I'm pretty sure there's bits where Keanu Reeves doesn't even have a mouth. I'm just like, what have you done to that? It literally looks like a computer game, which I probably said earlier. The fight between him and all the Smiths in the second one is pretty terrible. They do like a really long CGI tracking shot in the second one as well when they're fighting. It's just like, why did you have to do that? You could have just like used the CGI for the bits that you needed it for and then gone back to normal again. I did notice a lot of stand-ins as well, which I thought was quite funny. But they, you can't help that because they haven't got 75 Hugo Weavings, have they? So I can't understand that there were stand-ins there, but that was quite amusing to be able to clearly see some of the stand-ins during that fight. That was quite funny. But all in all, the CGI was just a bit... It wasn't very good. There were loads of shots throughout the first and second Matrix, especially like close-ups of faces, that they look really good. Like, I'd still say, all in all, because I mean the CGI is pretty bad on the Blu-ray as well. So if you're thinking of upgrading from Blu-ray to 4K, I'd still say go for it, because like the facial details on close-ups and stuff still looks really good. Like the explosions still look very good. There was a lot of grain throughout both films. I'm sorry if I'm talking like The Matrix 3 doesn't exist. I do apologise, but it doesn't really exist for me. After like the first 15 minutes of that film, I don't really care. Be interesting to see what they do with the fourth one. Be very interesting to see how that works, but the third one wasn't that great for me. It was a bit like watching Star Wars Episode 1 and 2 and 3 and 7, 8 and 9 and Solo. It's definitely worth the upgrade to 4K, but do bear in mind that the 4K does really enhance some of that CGI as well, so it does kind of make the CGI look a bit worse. Or you can the better way to say it is you can more tell the real shots from the CG shots when you watch it in 4K, whereas when you watch it on Blu-ray, because the condition isn't as high quality, it's not as obvious. So that was probably the only downside for me, was that the CGI stood out pretty badly. Some of the CGI fire was quite funny though, and some CGI can be quite funny. Some of the green screen shots in the second one were pretty bad. Baby Driver, on the other hand, was a massive step up for me. If you like Baby Driver, definitely get that in 4K. The HDR does wonders for that film. Close-ups, like there's scars on Baby's face that I'd never noticed before. He drives a beautiful red car at the beginning, Baby does, which looks good. The HDR all the way through Baby Driver is really good, actually. I noticed that the opening credits is all done in a tracking shot as well this time round. I was like, wow, I actually rewound it and watched it again because I was like, I didn't realise. And there's like all the way, because it's all to do with like the soundtrack as well. The film is very soundtracky, and like the gunshots go along with the beat of the music. I don't know if you knew that. When you next watch Baby Driver, you'll notice that about 80% of those gunshots go along with the beat of the music in the soundtrack. So do listen out for that. There's when you see, if you watch the tracking shot at the beginning when Baby goes to the coffee shop, and the opening titles, not the beginning of the film, the opening credits of the film, one long tracking shot when he goes to the coffee shop and then walks back. You can see on the wall and like posters and like written on poles and stuff, like lyrics from the song that's playing in the background as well, and I didn't notice that until I watched it this time round. So Baby Driver is definitely a thumbs up from me, good step up from the Blu-ray. I know Baby Driver was a bit of a quicker review there, but it's easier to do a review of something when you haven't got anything bad to say. Unfortunately, there were bad things to say about The Matrix, but even that was still a good step up. So it's still a good review for me. It was still worth. I'm glad I didn't spend 58 quid on it, but it's alright for 30. It's alright for 30. If you see it on offer, definitely go for it. Go to HMV. Yeah, they have it on offer. Don't always have to buy things on Amazon, do ya? So I'm going to go away. Please enjoy the rest of your day. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you in my next video, alright? Alright. Alright. Bye.